Good evening. Welcome to our third episode of Just Chat. I'm Ebony Monique.
And I'm Neka. We have a very exciting show for you. We're launching our new segment, Cooking with Chef Tiwanna. And we were able to go to the kitchen and get some behind the scenes special Father's Day etiquette and meal planning.
Yes, it was so good.
Yes.
I think I gained like 5 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
In that 20 minutes I was there.
I couldn't stop eating.
It was
just
so good.
delicious.
Yeah, it was.
And the aromas.
It was. But before we get into that, I want to head into our Chatterbox segment.
Okay.
All right. And I want to discuss some pretty important things that's going on in the world. Well, the first thing is pretty sad. It's about the Orlando shooting, the club shooting. Yeah, it's pretty awful. Horrible. As you know, a gunman went into Pulse nightclub and just started shooting. And it's an LGBT nightclub, a gay nightclub. So 50 people died, and I think it's about 53 is the count now as far as the victims who are still injured.
You know, troubling events. And it just, you know, I know that as a community we try not to, you know, be afraid, and we don't want to empower individuals who commit these horrendous acts, but it's hard not to. You know, it's really hard not to. And particularly when you hear some of the, you know, firsthand accounts from people who were on the scene. I know the survivors. I watched a show where they had the doctors. You know, there were about 8 doctors who actually operated on many of the people who were brought in. You could see that even the doctors, as professional as they were fighting back tears. And they were,
I saw that the new special too, where they had live footage of people just lining up to give blood because the doctors were begging people, you know, we're losing so much blood, we need blood, and people came through to give, you know, to donate blood. And so it was very it still is very, I don't even want to say unreal anymore, because unfortunately we're living in a time where these things are no longer shocking. You know, when these things are no longer, the things that are happening is no longer surprising, because, you know, you're living in a world full of hate. Okay, because apparently, or allegedly, I should say, the gunman who went in, as his ex-wife has been doing her rounds of interviews. She's been saying that he's always been abusive, he's been homophobic, he was really against gay people, and so that's what the speculation is, that's, you know, what he was targeting.
Just pure
hate. Just hate.
You know, what is a little bit disturbing for me, though, is that the FBI, you know, he popped up on the radar. Twice.
It was, questioned twice.
And was allowed to, you know, move on. And, you know, then a week before he decided to go into this nightclub, he purchased, you know, this automatic rifle.
Semi-automatic? What is a human, what is a civilian, a human person, a person who's just out here, just walking the streets, going to work, went to the post office or whatever, with a semi-automatic weapon?
It's just truly unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable.
And you know, and you think about, you know, all of the you know, horrendous occasions where we've had to have conversations like this.
All the time.
You know, it makes you leery of going to the movies, to the club, even to school, to church. You know, sending your babies to college. You know, it's really you know, a sad time. But I was very enlightened to hear some of the, you know, heroic stories. You know, where people were able to just kind of rally together and step up, and the lives that were able to be saved because people, you know, just kind of you know, came together as human beings to be there for one another. There was one young lady who told her story about what happened, and she and her friend Angel were sitting at the bar when it happened, and she said that you could hear the gunshots, And initially they thought maybe it was some sort of drive-by or, that it would pass. But she said the bullets never stopped coming. And so they, of course, ran and they retreated to try and go through the patio. And she said literally people were dropping next to her and she could feel the bullets passing. So she made it outside, but unfortunately her friend Angel, whom she referred to as her angel because he was standing right behind her as they ran out, he unfortunately suffered from 2 gunshot wounds, one in the back, one in the leg, and then his leg was broken because he was trampled. But her thing was, if he had not, because he was running behind her so closely, those bullets probably would have been, she would have been hit by those bullets instead. So she was in tears, and you could just tell how traumatic of an experience it was. My heart really goes out to the families.
Yeah, just listening to the stories myself, I was just imagining like how I would feel in that situation. I can't really, say I understand it because I have never been in that situation, thank God. But I mean, even the story about the mother who came out and said that her son was in the bathroom and was texting her, and he was saying, "Mom, they're shooting, I'm in the club, I'm about to die." And she was like, "Where are you? What's going on?" He's like, he's coming, I'm about to die." And then that was it. I mean, it was just, and then but one lady was telling her story how she survived. And she ran to the bathroom and she covered herself with bodies.
Smart. I mean, unfortunately, but
this is one man,
right?
With one man with
an automatic weapon. So I don't know. And we have to maybe in the weeks to come, especially since it's National Safety Month, we can sort of unpack some of the issues regarding gun control and find out what our viewers think about protecting themselves, because it's such a controversial topic. But while it's ridiculous for anybody to be able to walk into a gun store and purchase weapons of that sort, you almost need to feel in some way as an American that you do need the right to be able to protect yourself from things like this. So where's the balance? Where's the balance?
And we just have to just figure out what's going to happen for the weeks to come. I'm sure this is going to continuously develop.
Yes.
Because now they're saying that he was pledging ISIS.
Right.
His allegiance to ISIS.
Yes.
During the shooting.
Yes.
So we'll just see. So let's move on to a little bit more sad news.
More sad news.
I know, we have to get through it though, because it is trending and it is pretty, pretty significant. So rapper Lil Wayne.
Oh my, what's he got going on?
He apparently suffered 2 seizures earlier this week. Reportedly, he was performing on Sunday night. Okay. And then he boarded his private plane on Monday, and he suffered a seizure. They had to make an emergency landing. He was treated by paramedics, but then he refused to be allegedly transported to the hospital. Okay. Got back on his plane and had another seizure. Yeah, so he and it was in Omaha, Nebraska, where he is right now recovering. His what's it called? Publicist said that he's in stable condition and he's doing pretty well. So we'll just see what happens. But it's just really weird because this is not the first time this has happened with Lil Wayne. He suffered seizures a few months back, maybe late last year. And so I wonder what's really going on with his health. It's pretty secret what's happening.
They're keeping it under wraps. Well, we have to say some prayers for Lil Wayne. But I will say that I like that new song.
I like that new song. Go Cavs. I love it too.
That's a pretty cool
like
song.
it.
Yeah.
But do you think this has something to do with his alleged drug use? With that scissor, or what the young kids call it, lean.
Scissor. Is that what they call it?
Well, scissor, I think it's our generation. Okay, but the new generation is lean.
Is that even the same thing? Look, we don't know.
Is it? Y'all let us know.
Whatever it is, lean, scissor, stop it.
Yeah. Okay. Don't do it.
Stop it.
No, don't do it. Yeah. So I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Anything's possible. I mean, it could be that maybe he has some sort of health condition, and then coupled with whatever drug abuse that may be going on, I'm sure it's impacting it in a negative way. But Keep me up on that one. You know, I
know,
don't traditionally
you know,
follow Lil Wayne, but
I do. I follow anything that's trending.
well, I'm so glad that you keep me so hip and cool.
And I try. And I'm just really interested because for me, I just think that this drug addiction thing, and if this is the situation with Lil Wayne, I'm not saying it is, again, allegedly, you know, it's really, it takes a toll on me because I don't know why I just feel so sad for people who are really addicted. I mean, it's a disease.
Yeah.
You know, and so it brings me in mind with the whole like Lamar Odom thing too.
Yeah.
You know, what happened with him last year. He was in a brothel, found unconscious, you know, from his drug use and drinking, and then he miraculously recovered.
Yeah.
Which means God had a plan for you, right?
Absolutely.
So, but then what's going on now with him is that his family has come out and said, we have to get something under control with him because we went into his home and there's crack pipes.
Yeah.
So he's back to doing drugs. He was caught, actually, I think TMZ posted a picture of him in the club downing Hennessy.
Oh, wow. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you hate to see people that come so close to losing
That's the wake-up call.
That's your
You
wake-up
died
call.
pretty much. I mean,
not realize that you do have a purpose and you need to find that purpose and let it go. But so many times you see entertainers, and not just entertainers. I mean, it happens in the everyday world. People who don't have lots and lots of money, we tend to equate drug abuse and substance abuse with the entertainment world.
Right.
But I mean, it happens every day.
Yeah.
You know, in some of our own homes. But you know, you just it's such a horrible disease. You know, that sort of addiction, that substance abuse. And when you don't get proper treatment and proper help, I mean, even when you have support systems, it's a battle.
It's a battle.
You know, so you just, I don't know, we're going to keep saying some prayers for those
Yeah,
folks.
we go, you know, the prayer warriors have been solicited, as Gary with the T would say.
Funny.
He's funny. So we're going to keep them in prayer. So let's go ahead and just take a quick break right now. And we'll be right back with more Chatterbox. Welcome back. Okay, so let's switch gears for a little bit. So I want to talk about something that I received in my inbox from a young lady. She wants to remain anonymous, so you will. But apparently she really digs our relationship talk, you know, during our Chatterbox segments. And her question is, what if your significant other enjoys porn and strip clubs a little too much? How do you feel about that?
Well, what's a little too much?
He loves it.
Like, is he spending all his money and time there?
I mean, according to what I can gather from her message was that, yeah, he likes to go to strip clubs and he likes to watch porn.
Well,
and some people are okay with that. I want to know, how do you feel about that?
I think that can be tough. I mean, because, you know, I think that men and women indulge or can indulge in porn, or even having, you know, a night out with the girls or the boys at a strip club. I think from time to time it's okay, you know.
For the strip club or porn?
Both.
But porn can be free when you go on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the. So, okay, here's my thing. Are you just like watching porn and she like in the other room? Or y'all watching it together? Like,
hold on, let me know. I just asked that follow-up question.
I mean, it just kind of, I think it's some layers to this, right? You know, so,
I think so too.
When you have, if she has an issue with it, like if I'm not comfortable with you always frequenting the strip clubs, and every time I walk in a room you got the porno on, and I'm like not even a part of the scene, like, I don't know, I might feel some type of way too. You know what I mean?
Well, y'all need to grab y'all skirts and y'all hats, because guess what? I agree with Neka. Y'all know that hardly ever happens.
I know.
Okay? So I do agree with you. Mm-hmm. I think I look at it at a different level, though. To me is going to a strip club and watching porn, I think you're letting too much temptation in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, I trust him and he not gonna cheat on me, whatever. But I think that temptation is there. Because to me, it's like, why do you want to go see other women? Why do you want to look at other women and I'm right here? So,
yeah, but there's a lot of couples that go together.
They go together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool too.
I mean,
but
you know, for fun, maybe. I mean, it's a lot of couples that go together.
Right.
And like I say, I mean, the thing is, if you're uncomfortable with it, even if he's asking you to go and you don't want to go, you know what I mean? Then you have to address it.
I think I look at things differently as a married woman. Mm-hmm. So as a married woman, I feel, that temptation can set in and you don't want him. Listen, okay. I'm a little possessive. Mm-hmm. And territorial. Okay, that's just me. So I don't even feel comfortable with the fact that my man or my husband can get aroused from another woman knowingly. Mm-hmm. Knowing that that's what is, getting him together. Right. Okay, so I feel like that. But I mean, if you're dating and your boyfriend and girlfriend, just go with them. Yeah. Or just partake.
So you wouldn't go with your husband?
At this stage in my marriage, I think I'm over that.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I think I'm over
that. Over it? Look, what if he wants to go and hang out?
Again, I think at the level that we're at now, I don't think that's okay. I don't think it's okay.
I would go.
Just at the level.
I mean, I would go. I mean, I would be selective. No, you can't just take me.
You want to go to the... No, see, now you got to be bougie with the strippers.
I'm going to be bougie about it. Because we ain't going
You want to see a show.
You're right. We ain't going.
You got to have a plot.
No,
okay. I need a skit. Okay.
And I would be open to watching porn with my husband. I mean, it could be about creativity. Maybe it's about spicing it up. I mean, I'm not saying that is what you would need as a married couple or, in order to keep them. But if that is what you wanted to kind of, explore or venture off into, I think if both parties were comfortable with it, then I say go for it. But if you are not comfortable with it,
I don't know.
You do have to be comfortable. I mean,
you do. And I don't know about my man to get nobody else's vagina but mine.
Okay, here she go.
I don't know about vaginas. I'm just saying. I don't want to look at nobody else's vagina but mine. Yeah. I mean, I'm his vagina till death do us part.
This is true.
Okay, so that's how I feel about that. Yeah. But I do understand. I mean, to me, anonymous person, before you met this man or dated this man, I'm sure you knew that he loved porn and strip clubs. I'm sure he didn't start just now. Yeah. So if that's the case, you have to be able to have a compromise with them now.
You do. But there are couples who, porn especially, and I would imagine strip clubs too, that, I mean, just, there are men who are really addicted to porn.
Very.
And
it's ridiculous.
It has torn up relationships and marriages. And, that's a very real thing. So that's why I say if you don't have that comfort level, and then you definitely need to address it before it gets out of hand. And you're right, the temptation can be crazy. Right. And, and
it could be like, oh, okay, well, she doing that. So, I mean, because, okay, let's just get real for a second. In most porn, there are threesomes, right?
But not all porn.
Well, see, I ain't really an avid porn watcher.
Well, yeah, that's not true for all porn.
Most porn is like, I mean, what's fun about watching just two people?
Well,
excuse my ignorance and my innocence, okay? But I thought that most porn were like threesomes.
No, not all the time.
So. Oh, okay.
It's gonna make all porn be threesomes?
Well, threesomes, foursomes, they do a lot of stuff like.
No, it's not always.
Oh, well, I thought it was.
Now, see, you done ventured off into it. That was not even a part of the conversation.
Well, I was making no point. My point I was gonna make was, if you're so into the porn and stuff like that, then he's gonna be watching like, oh, they're having threesomes. Let me ask my woman to have
that's to me that's something different.
No, because it's porn.
Oh yes, there are porn. I'm not saying that you know that doesn't exist, but I'm just saying that's another topic.
What's the topic? Would you have a threesome?
That's something else. That's not my husband is addicted to porn. She didn't say anything about a threesome. I think that's something else. But I think I see what you're saying. I see how it can open the door if that's the kind of, you know, pornography that he's into. If he's only watching threesomes, then I would be leery of that.
I mean, what's the point of watching porn if it's no threesomes?
Listen, that's not the only point.
Is it more than porn? With some boring porn if it ain't threesomes, isn't it? Who knew?
It's getting deep.
Well,
this might cause a little too much exposure for me.
Right, tell me
more. There's more porn than just threesomes. It's not that porn is more than that. I mean, really.
Oh. Alright. I'll have her inbox you next time. Alright, I think we need a break. After that one. Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for tuning in. We have a very special treat for you. Chef Tiwanna of Pearl Flower Catering. Not only will you hear great recipes and fabulous ways to treat your loved one, your father, your dad, your son if he's a dad,
and baby daddy.
Yes,
don't forget the baby daddy.
You can't forget the baby daddy.
Just saying.
But you'll also hear some great insight into Pearl Flower and how she got started and her inspiration to become the chef. Check it out.
All right, welcome to our very first segment with Chef Tiwanna of Pearl Flower Catering. We are here going to cook up a nice meal for Father's Day.
Yummy.
So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so what I decided to do today for Father's Day is actually one of my signature dishes. And it's one of those dishes that you can really cook anytime. It's shrimp and grits. So everyone knows I love brunch. It's kind of like my thing. But you can do it for brunch, you can do it for breakfast, you can do it for dinner. So I thought, you know, why not do shrimp and grits? You know, you want to do a Father's Day brunch, wake up, we made brunch for you, we made breakfast for you, straight. If not, you want to do it for dinner, it will still work. You can pair it with other things or it stands alone. So we're going to do shrimp and grits.
Grits are so filling.
They are. They are. I mean, and I just think, you know, it's such a soulful dish. You know, we grew up on grits.
Yes.
You know, we had them. So it's the debate of, do you have your grits with sugar or do you have your grits with salt and pepper? I mean, we can go on and on.
Sugar.
Maybe you guys should do that on your Facebook chat, like salt or sugar, right, for the grits.
I like a little cheese, little salt and
I do
pepper.
cheese.
Yes.
I do all of it actually.
And I just think with the whole make your own concept these days, like Chipotle, the build your own, it's nice because the toppings, you can do what you want at the end. So the base is you just have to have a really good creamy grit. Okay, so for those of you out there, you may have had grits when you were younger, you don't really make them a lot. It's a very simple dish. You can get quick grits, 5-minute grits. I always cook mine for at least a half hour, even if it's 5-minute grits. You want to cook them slow. Half and half. I always use half and half. To me, it just makes them creamier. But of course, you want to start out with water. I always use garlic salt. Some people just use garlic powder. Some people just use salt. I like the combination, so I use garlic salt. And then butter. You can use real butter. You can use margarine. I'm not big on margarine. I do use Smart Balance, which is a butter alternative. It's vegan. And it has a lot of the omega-3 oils as opposed to just vegetable oil like margarine has. So and it tastes good.
Yes.
So I'll use Smart Balance or real butter for my grits. So basically I have the water boiling. And for those of you out there, I mean, I've done it for so long, I can eyeball it. But if you are not used to making grits, follow the directions. If it says a cup of water to a cup of grits, then that's what you do. So So depending on the portion sizes, how many, people you're trying to feed, how much you're trying to make.
Right.
You'll just follow directions on the thing. 1/4 cup of grits to 1 cup of water. And a dash of salt. That's what it tells you here. So I'm using the garlic salt.
So you gotta
a
be
little
good
bit
at
of
math.
half and half.
You gotta be good at math. Because you're cooking for like 30 people.
Decent, I get, sometimes I look at fractions.
cup, right?
I look at fractions. Yes, use a measuring
Yeah, but a
cup.
fourth plus a fourth plus a fourth was that.
I don't know.
See?
4/4. 3/4.
A fourth is 3/4.
Yes.
Just take it back third grade. A little bit. So,
I'm an English major.
yeah, there's a little bit of math involved in cooking, especially if you're gonna follow the recipe. So, basic grits. The only thing I'm adding that's not on the recipe, instead of using salt, I'm using garlic salt, and I'm using half and half. It doesn't say butter, but to me that's self-explanatory. You need butter on grits. Okay? So, I'm gonna get the grits going. We have the water boiling already. So the water is at a nice boil.
Yes.
I like to start out with a little less water than, I guess I just told you to follow directions, so you follow the directions. But I like to start out with a little less water.
Okay.
Just because when you have a lot of water and then you go in with grits, it can clump a little bit.
Okay.
So if you start out with less water, just like any gravy you're making, sauces and gravy, you're going to get control of it. So you start
So
out
add it
thicker
sugar. Okay.
because you can always thin it out.
Yeah.
As opposed to starting out thin and then have to thicken up.
Right.
You can do either, but it's easier when you start out thicker and then you can thin out. Okay? So, I'm gonna go in with my grits now. I'm just gonna start there. Start there. An important kitchen tool, and kitchen gadgets are so important. Do not minimize kitchen gadgets. You need a whisk. People try and cook grits with a regular spoon and wonder why it comes. You need a whisk. It doesn't have to be this big whisk. I have to get a small whisk.
You have to get a whisk. No, really? I use a regular spoon. So I'm learning something here.
And then you wanna whisk your grits. That's what's gonna keep those clumps. When you see the clumps starting to form, you get aggressive with the whisk.
Yes.
Just get the clumps out. Another little cooking tip is if you're making any kind of gravy, sauce, grits, anything again where you're dealing with like consistency and thickness, if you don't know that it's reached its full thickness until it comes to a boil. So you know how you're making a gravy or something that's kind of thin, and once it cooks, it kind of thickens up. Once something comes to a complete boil, that's where you can pretty much see the thickness. And it may continue to get a little bit thicker, but that's when you can kind of pretty much see how thick it is because it's at a boil. Okay. So if it's not boiling, let it sit a minute before you go adding more water or whatever, because you don't really know how thick it is at that point. So once you get them good and whisked up, you want to go low. You want to cook the grits low. And like if I were at home and I had a smaller pot, I would cover them. I would cover the grits.
On a simmer, right?
Yeah. Yep. So now they're going pretty low. I'm gonna let that simmer a little bit. I may need to add a little more grits. I'm gonna let it simmer and see where we get with it. Okay. So the grits are going. Now, the toppings for the shrimp and grits: andouille sausage. This is what I do. I do andouille sausage with peppers and onions. You can do your peppers separate, or you can mix them with the andouille sausage, and that's what I tend to do. I mix it with the andouille sausage. The other protein topping, we have shrimp.
Okay.
I use tail off. That's another debate. Some people like the tail on the shrimp. I use tail off because when I serve it at events, to me it's just easier. I don't anybody choke on the tail or anything. Some people just go all the way in. So I use tail off, but it's cute with the tail on. So it's not like a right or wrong thing. So we're gonna prep the andouille sausage first while the grits are cooking. Okay. So I'm gonna let you ladies do this part.
All right.
And this is, pre-packaged andouille sausage. You can get it from anywhere. It's a lot better if you go to like a meat market and it's made fresh. If you don't eat pork or beef, I know Whole Foods and GFS both has a really good chicken andouille sausage that I use for clients if they don't want beef or pork. But this one here, it's a good one. I love it. It's a big package. It feeds a lot of people. Again, I do event catering, so I'm always feeding a lot of people. This one does have beef and pork. It's a little bit spicy, and the sausage is a little bit spicy. But it's good. It kind of gives it a little kick.
Nice.
It gives it that kind of Cajun feel. So I'm gonna give each of you 2 sausages to work with. Okay?
All right. So give us some direction on what's the best way to chop these boys up.
Okay.
Now, we want to make sure
How to
we
chop
chop them right.
So let me see your knife. I'm gonna give you guys like a little prototype.
Oh.
Again, this is one of those things you can give it your own flavor. So again, the way you cut your andouille sausage is up to you. There's no right or wrong way. But again, because I'm usually doing this for events, and the way I serve it, usually in a martini glass, I think it's cute served that way. I just do little slices.
Okay.
So like with your hand, you don't have no automatic cutter?
Cut it at an angle.
Like a sausage.
No, I hand cut all of these sausages.
Wow.
Just cut it at an angle.
Into this.
Right, the recipe of love.
Watch your fingers, ladies.
Yes.
But you can do them, kind of thick. You want nice little chunks.
Make them a little chunky.
And then I don't like the
ends.
I call it the booty part. I don't like that part. I usually throw that away.
I don't mind.
But it's edible. And this is smoked sausage, so it's already done. It's like a kibasi or something like that. It's already done.
Okay.
But again, we're gonna saute it with peppers and onions. And like you're doing yours, that's fine. But to me, it's cuter like if you do it on a little
Oh,
let me
I was doing circle.
But again, it's totally fine that you do it
with
that way.
angle.
Yeah,
I do the second one like that.
Didn't you see? She had them.
I know.
She made them all cutesy.
I wasn't paying attention. I thought I was doing what she was doing. I'm sorry.
And so nice and chunky.
Yeah, and you can do that with anything you cut, and that's just it gives it a different dimension. So again, another food tip.
So like this.
Give your food a different dimension. Cut it at an angle. You can do the same thing with veggies. Cutting it at an angle just gives it a little dimension.
It's about presentation.
Otherwise, would have.
And that's what's so nice about pearl flour is everything is not only delicious, but it's always so
pretty.
Right.
And so our grits are coming together nicely over here. They're starting to thicken up a little bit. So I'm just gonna, give them a quick whisk. And that's what you do in the kitchen. You have to really multitask because while they're doing that, I'm gonna come check on the grits, get this going.
And for our viewers at home, it smells absolutely
so
delicious,
good.
by the way.
So good.
Yes,
Can't
we
wait.
eat with our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and then we smell
It's almost too pretty to eat.
before we eat. So we have some andouille sausage all cut up. Okay, let's do one more sausage. You want to cut that up? Sure. Ebony, since you're not doing anything, you want to cut that up?
Here, I'll give you that. We can
share sausage.
It's the only time we'll be sharing sausage.
Ever. I mean, did you guys see their first 2 episodes? We don't want to discuss sharing sausage. These
We say what you're thinking, remember?
Goodness gracious. That's on sharing sausage.
Okay.
So, no booty part, right?
So, we have sausage. Good to go. So here, do me a favor. Give me your cutting boards. Because we'll get sausage out of the way. Sausage is here. Ready. Okay. Now, I've already pre-chopped some peppers and onions. So I don't know if you guys want to demonstrate chopping some peppers and onions.
No, this is good. So we got,
Okay, I have some more stuff for you to chop.
Okay.
And what I'm going to ask you to do is just flip over your cutting boards.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is, like, I'm in the kitchen, so I have color coordinated boards that I use for veggies and fruit. But if you're just using it at home, we're going to keep it real at home. You don't have all that stuff. But you do want to be mindful of, when you're chopping meat and when you're chopping fruits and
Very
vegetables.
important. Okay.
Very important. We want to be safe. Okay, so when we get ready to saute our peppers, and actually I don't have onions. You can use onions, but I have different color peppers. I always like to incorporate colors in food. It's healthier, and then again, that presentation is there. So we have red, yellow, and green peppers.
And these 2 are nice and chunky.
Orange peppers. Yes.
So
Yep.
that's cool.
So however you want to slice them. Some people want to do the little thin julienne slices. I do a little chunk. And I'm gonna saute in olive oil. Pretty much everything I make, I saute in olive oil. Sometimes I use butter, depending on what it is. But I like to use olive oil.
So does it matter, like, as far as the olive oil, if it's extra virgin or you know how it's different?
It depends on what you're doing. Extra virgin olive oil tends to be thicker. This is lighter.
Okay.
So if I use, this is like my all-purpose. So if I'm sauteing something, I can use this. But if I'm making a salad dressing, like from scratch, I can use this.
Okay.
It's not that bold olivey flavor.
Right.
It's not super thick.
Okay.
But it's just nice all-purpose. So I use light extra virgin. But if you just use regular extra virgin olive oil, that's fine too.
Okay.
I wouldn't say go get extra light. If you have regular EVOO in your kitchen, you can use that. Okay, so put a little olive oil in the pan. A little
Just a little. My grandma, she used olive oil as blessed oil.
Okay. Okay, so since the sausage is already done, we're gonna start first with the peppers and onions in the oil.
Makes sense.
So I'm gonna go in with your peppers and onions in the oil. And I didn't let the oil get hot enough because I like to get a little sizzle. I didn't hear it. So you let the oil be a little bit hotter. But again, just sauteing peppers here, putting a little bit of olive oil. And just kind of let that go. I'm gonna let that go a little bit. I'm gonna check on my grits. Yeah, they're nice and creamy.
No, they're coming along just fine.
No, they're coming along just fine. I think
And
now
so you
is a
didn't
good
have to
time.
sit and stir, huh? Necessarily.
No. You do not have to sit and stir your grits. I mean, you can't forget about them. And then that's the whole point too in cooking them low. You cook them low, and you still have to watch them. They can still burn. So now I'm just gonna come in with a little bit, just half and half. Now that they kind of thickened up.
So you just kind of play that by ear as far as how much you put in there? Okay.
Or again, if they're too thick,
Yeah.
you can use it to thin them out.
So is this a recipe that you made up or someone taught you, or how'd you come up with this?
I just kind of. My husband taught me how to make grits.
Oh, okay.
Grits and rice. He, for whatever reason, like my rice used to be mushy. My grits were like gritty. He taught me how to make really good grits and really good rice. So as far as like with the toppings and everything that goes on it, I think just me always trying to do something cute. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do shrimp and grits in a martini glass, and just kind of went from there. You know, the anchovy sausage I thought what would be good with it.
Right.
Peppers and onions.
Yeah.
I know like one of the chefs, like TV chefs who kind of inspired me back in the day, I think I might have been a teenager, was Emerald Lagasse.
Oh, yeah.
You know, back then, there weren't a lot of African-American chefs on TV. So he was like the closest thing to some soulful food. You know, he was cooking like crawfish and red beans and rice and talking about Bam and... You know, he always talks about the Trinity when he cooks.
Right.
The Trinity was, I think, carrots, celery, and onions. My Trinity is like green peppers, red onions.
Okay.
Like, I use that a lot.
Everything.
In everything, like in my Cajun chicken pasta. Like, I just like that combination together, the way it tastes. So, that's my Trinity. So, I was like, okay, we'll do the green peppers, the red peppers, and the onions in there. And with the andouille sausage. So, here I go. Just throwing the sausage in. We're gonna let that go together. And then we're turning the heat down a little. I kind of like it to get the little char marks on there. You know, I'm that person who always wants the burnt hot dog in the cookout.
I love the burnt hot
I'm looking
dog.
for the burnt hot dog in the bunch. So anything with some char marks on it, to me, is good. You know, I'm a chef because the term chef just means chief of the kitchen. But I'm not trained. I didn't go to culinary school. I take pride in making my own sauces, like when I do my cheese sauces, Cajun cream sauces. But when I find a product in the store that is good, I share. I do share. And this is definitely a cheat here. This is a roasted pineapple and habanero sauce. I get it from Sam's Club. And I used to just use it as like a dipping sauce, and then now I kind of put it in a bunch of different stuff.
Amazing.
Yes, and it's because you know I was doing the whole gluten-free thing. It's gluten-free.
Oh, wow.
So that attracted me to it. It's gluten-free and it's all natural. So there's no high fructose corn syrup in it. So it's just a really good cheap product. If you want to add something to something, like if you want to do some chicken and add this to it, it makes a whole, put it over rice.
Oh wow.
It just adds a whole other dimension to it. And then if you add to this, if you want to add some soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce, you can just, you know, it's like a good base for doctoring things up, so to speak. So this is another thing that I kind of started, and I don't always do it. It's one of those things, if you have it, use it. If you don't, you don't need it. I really like using that light extra virgin olive oil because that kind of when the juices from the meat begin to break down and mixes with the olive oil, that makes a sauce in and of itself. And as the vegetables begin to break down, you know, some of the juices from the vegetables, then mix in together and everything just kind of marries. So again, grits are here getting creamy. I'm gonna add a little more garlic salt to it just because you want that flavor. Grits to me is the kind of thing you need something with it. You know, some people just eat grits, but you need something with it. That's why people are like, oh, I put sugar on my grits, or oh, I do salt and pepper, or oh, I do cheese. Like, you need something with grits. So you want to have a nice flavor from grits. So that's good. Okay, so now we have our andouille sausage, peppers, and onions mixture. It's pretty much done. It's just kind of simmering a little bit. And then the next protein is the shrimp. While, you know, I'm prepping the shrimp, I'm gonna give you girls a quick task.
Okay. And this lemonade is amazing.
And I just rinsed these scallions or green onion off. You wanna make sure it's very important. You wanna rinse off all of your fresh fruits and vegetables before you use them. But again, the scallions, I use them as a topping. Okay, so like we have our bacon as a topping, sugar as a topping, cheese as a topping, scallions as a topping. Okay, so I just wanted you girls to chop up some scallions. Again, you can do it at an angle, it gives it one look, or you can just chop. You want to watch your fingers. That's the most important thing. Watch your fingers. You always want to kind of keep your fingertips tucked in.
You can do hers so quick.
And then you just give it a chop, okay? And really, we don't need a whole lot. And I'm gonna prepare our shrimp, okay? We have shrimp here. I use from pre-frozen, peeled, deveined, tail off shrimp. Again, you know, you can find that at any seafood counter, at any grocery store, fresh or frozen. But again, I think it's the 26-30 size, but if you want to use a smaller shrimp, you can, or a bigger shrimp, like a nice fat juicy shrimp, especially for your fathers out there. Bigger is better. So you may want to use a bigger shrimp, but I think this is a pretty nice size shrimp for serving, especially with the martini glasses, okay? Again, sauteing shrimp is simple. You want to start with the oil or butter. A lot of times I'll use like a garlic butter at home.
Ooh, I love garlic butter.
We're just going to use our olive oil again today. Okay. Another trick that I use sometimes, instead of directly seasoning the meat, I season the oil. That kind of gets the flavors into the oil, which again kind of soaks into the meat. The seasoning I use, I kind of have like a house blend seasoning that I use. It's my secret. So I can't tell you what all is in here.
Right.
But I think everybody should have their own little house blend seasoning, okay? And that's basically what you use the most. If it's Laura seasoned salt, if it's garlic salt, if you like a little Old Bay or Cajun seasoning or basil, whatever your favorite, you know, lemon pepper, whatever your favorite seasonings are, instead of like, and one of the chefs who actually works for me taught me this trick. He was like, because everything, I was teaching him how I do stuff, and I was like, and put this and this and this and this and this and this. He's like, you know, you just should make your own seasoning, right? And put a little. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And so then I started to add and take away until I kind of got that perfect all-around seasoning that you can put on everything.
Chef, can you tell our viewers how they can find you?
You can find me on social media, Miss Pearl Flower or Pearl Flower Catering on Instagram, Pearl Flower Catering on Facebook. My website is pearlflowercatering.com. Yes, everything Pearl Flower Catering. And that's pretty much it. pearlflowercatering@gmail.com is my email.
Where's your name come from? Pearl Flower. That's interesting.
Pearl Flower, yes. Pearl Flower, the name Pearl Flower is actually near and dear to me because I took both of my grandmother's names and put it together. My grandmother Pearline and then my grandmother D Flowers. So my grandmother Dolores Flowers, she owned her own business for over 40 years. She was an upholsterer. So I kind of took her business sense and just that whole spirit of entrepreneurship. And then my other grandmother, Pearline, she was just like the matriarch who always cooked. So my passion and love for food pretty much came from her. I still call her now and ask her, you know, how to make things, or, you know, she's that person. If she tastes your food, she's gonna chew it up and we need some more salt, or so if you get her stamp of approval on a dish,
then you made it.
You have arrived, okay?
Yeah.
So yes, pearl flour comes from my 2 grandmothers, so that's where our name comes from. Yep. Okay, so our oil should be hot enough here so that when we put our shrimp in, we can get that sizzle that I like. Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of seasoning in the oil, just so the oil gets good in the seasoning. You have to be careful with shrimp. It doesn't really need a lot. You don't want salty shrimp, and you don't want to overcook shrimp. As soon as they turn pink, for the most part, they're done.
It's so yummy.
Well,
This is so delicious. And I will say, I have frequented a few pearl flour events, and this grits bar is always
it's
the hit of the event. It's absolutely good. Look at your cheese, it melts so good. And inside the bowl.
Okay. So go ahead and tell them again how they can reach you.
Pearlflourcatering.com.
All right. It was so good, y'all. I really hope that you all try it. And if you do try the shrimp and grits recipe for your father, son, husband, whomever, let us know.
Yes.
Send us a picture on our Facebook page.
Share the picture.
Yeah, comment on our page and let us know. And for those of you, we do have a prize.
Yes.
Chef Tiwanna is giving away a free t-shirt that says I love brunch.
She loves
because
brunch.
she loves to brunch. And all you have to do is share this episode on your Facebook page, and you will be entered into the raffle to receive the shirt. So you have to do that within the next what?
Let's give them 2 days.
2 days?
2
Okay,
days.
2 days.
Share it.
Yeah, and we'll let you know who the winner is on Monday morning.
Yes.
All right. So that's it.
Right. Don't forget to give us some feedback. We want to know what you think.
And you're pretty good at doing that. So continue to give us feedback, and make sure, again, check us out. Facebook, Just Chat With Us. YouTube, Just Chat. Our website, justchatwithus.com. And again, you want to be a guest, let us know. Contact us, and we'll try to have you on.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.